Hey guys, today you're in a big white sheet of paper, you're going to get a red sheet of paper, and you are going to get a handout that has some different examples of pagodas, as well as some other details that you might want to draw today as well. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my name on that big sheet of white paper. Mr. Calvert. 3 in whichever class you're in. I'm going to flip that over, and I can actually set that off to the side. I'm not going to need it right away. You are going to take your red sheet of paper, and you are going to fold it in half. Fold it in half, nice and neat, and then I can unfold it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut right along that fold. Okay. So one of this, half of this I'm going to use for my sun, the other half I'm going to use for my pagoda. I'm going to start off with my sun. I'm just going to take one of those tracers at my table, kind of get it off to the edge, that way you can use these scraps later on in case you need them. Okay, there's my sun. And I can cut that out nice and quick. Okay, I'm going to hang onto the scrap though, just in case I need it. Okay, I also need to make my pagoda. Okay, so I'm going to fold this other rectangle in half. Right, the reason I'm doing this is so that way I get symmetry for my roof when I go to cut this out. And if you take a look at that worksheet I gave you, it has some different examples of pagodas. Okay, so you might want to take a look and figure out which roof do you like. Okay, do you want one like this? Maybe one more like this. Okay, it's up to you. Notice how typically it starts at the top, it's smaller, and then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay, I expect to see that with yours too. Small gets bigger, bigger, bigger. Okay, so I think I'm going to do this one this time. And if you need help figuring out how to draw half of this, because remember we're going to fold it in half and then cut it, you can draw a line right down the middle. So I can say, okay, this is the shape I need to draw right there. So I'm going to go like this. Looks like it's a straight line out. Then it curves up to the middle. Remember, I'm only drawing half of it. That way when I cut this out, I can unfold it and I've got the other half. Look at this time, the flat line is going to be on top. And I know that it's going to be a little bit bigger, so that line's going to come out further than the one before it. This one's going to curve down like this. Then there's another one. It's slowly getting bigger and bigger. I'm going to do one more. There. Right? Notice too that oftentimes the roof of them is different than the other ones. Okay, so this one comes up to a point, whereas these ones don't. So really notice how the roof might change. Okay, I've got all 4 of them drawn. I'm going to cut these out now. Right, so I've got my roofs cut out. There's one. This will be the second one, the third one, and the 4th one. Okay, so I've got my red stuff cut out, my moon, or excuse me, my sun. I've got my pagoda cut out. Now I'm going to glue these down. Okay. I'm probably going to start with my pagoda first. I'm going to kind of put my pagoda off to one side. I don't want it right smack dab in the middle. Put a little bit of glue on this. Start at the top or the bottom. Don't start in the middle though. Put a few dots of glue on there. Then I'll do the next one. This won't take very much glue to get glued down. I'm actually kind of lining up that fold. It might be kind of hard to see, but I have a fold going right down the middle. So I know that's the middle, so if I line those up, you should keep my pagoda pretty well even on the sides. And looks like this one might end up coming off the edge of the paper just a little bit. That's okay though, I can always trim it off when it's dry. Okay, so I got my pagoda glued on. Okay, there it is. I need to glue down my sun as well. You can kind of put it up towards the top if you want. If you want to put it more towards the middle, that's fine too. So you don't want it too low. Maybe I'll put it right about here. Okay, so I've got my red done. I traced my tracer for the sun. I decided what kind of shape pagoda I wanted and drew those out. Next, I'm going to use the back side of my worksheet and I'm going to begin to add some other details. So I would probably start with maybe the mountains. Actually, you should probably draw out the rest of your pagoda first. Take that back. Okay, now you're welcome to change the pagodas if you want. Okay, just because I chose to do this rough doesn't mean I have to keep it the same. I'm going to draw it out. I know that it gets a little bit bigger each time it comes down a step. So it's getting wider and wider. Give it details if you want to do some little details on the rough. I'm fine with that too. Okay, and I'm also going to add like a little bit of ground behind this. Sorry, you guys can't see what I'm doing. So a little bit of ground. Okay, I'm going to finish up drawing out that pagoda design. Okay, got my pagoda done. Maybe I'll give it a little tower at the top, like that. Okay, next I can go in and add some of those details. So I could do the mountains. I think I'm going to start with those. Okay, your mountain doesn't have to look just like this, but I'm going to kind of start with that. Probably don't want it to go in front of your moon, just because then you would end up with some red on your mountain. That wouldn't quite make sense. Or in front of your sun. Sorry, I keep calling it the moon. Okay, you could add some of these trees. Okay, in Japan oftentimes they have bamboo, which has like almost these little rectangles on it. So notice how they like leave a little gap between them. So you could have that. Then the leaves kind of come out. You could have them overlap a little bit. This one's closer, that's why it's bigger. Maybe I'll do one more. Make this one look a bit further away. So I got some bamboo trees. I could do this. Not really sure what this is called. I should probably look that up. But I could do something like that if I'd like. Make it kind of small. Okay, there are lots of little details. If you want to add like a tree, you can. It's up to you what kind of details you want, but you need to add a little bit of something. There. I'm pretty happy with that. Alright, so when you are done, we're going to put these on the drying rack to dry. Remember to start off with your sun and your pagoda. Get that drawn out and then cut out and glued. Then you can come in and start to add those details. Alright, when you're done, put them on the drying rack. Make sure to take care of your scraps.